everyone, it's Gwen from Rustic Diva Design, and I have a tutorial for you for the What's Cooking recipe album that I just did a walkthrough video on. So let's get started with that. I have a couple of things prepped already, and I'm going to do I'll put some links in the description box to show you where I learned certain things or where I bought certain things, if I can find those links from the Etsy shops that I purchased some things from. So this is the album that we're going to be working on. It's a 5x7 album with a 1 1/4 inch spine. So I have some things prepped already that I'm going to show you. So I have the cover made, and this is the lay flat cover method that I learned from Tamara at Country Craft Creations, and I'm going to link a video showing you how to do the cover. So this is what we have so far. This is the lay flat method. We're going to start right away with some dimensions for the cover. If you want to make the 5x7 size, that's what I'm giving you dimensions for. So to start out with the cover, you need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5x7. So those are this piece and this piece. And then the spine piece is 1 1/4 by 5. Okay. And then if you're going to do the lay flat cover method to wrap your chipboard, you will need 2 pieces of solid cardstock that measure 7 by 9, and that's for this piece and this piece, and 1 piece of solid cardstock to wrap the spine, which is 4 1/4 by 7. So those are the dimensions for this album using the lay flat cover method. If you want to use those dimensions when you're learning how to do that, or you can do the old traditional way, I guess, of wrapping your chipboard, however you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to get started just with the cover. This is how I've been doing this album in like an assembly line type of production because I'm making a lot of these. So I have all my covers made already, and I am just going with the flow here, cutting things as I need, and then we'll get into each piece here once we go along. So I have cut the mats for the inside of the book, the 2 inside covers and the spine piece, and let me tell you what these dimensions are. So the mat, I'm not double matting on the cover, the inside cover. I do some double matting. You can choose whether or not you want to do that, and you'll just have to change your dimensions if you do. So this is just the pattern paper for the inside covers. Those are 4 by 7/8 by 6 7/8, these 2 pieces here. And then the spine is 1 1/4 by 4 7/8. Okay, so I usually, as I'm going along here, making these little books, I inked my edges first with Tim Holtz Black Soot. So those are already prepped. And so, isn't this cute paper? This other side with the cherry pie. I love it. I've used it in a couple of the other albums that I've made already. So here we go. Prepping the inside cover first. And like I always say, the gluing is the most boring part. I get it. And I'm not sure if this tutorial is going to be a full 1 part or if I have to break it into 2. I have been trying to get this tutorial to you guys for a while, so we will see how it goes as we go along here. Let me just scoot that out of the way, and then just, you know, lining it up evenly there. There's that one. I have to find my bone folder. And again, I apologize. I always say this in my tutorials. My table is wiggly because this is my video area. It's not my craft area. So I craft in my kitchen at my dining room table so that I can cook and craft at the same time. So my apologies for the wiggling. So I'm gonna leave that, and I'm gonna glue the second sheet for the back. And again, this album is super easy. You know, you can get as elaborate with it as you want. I didn't too much because I'm making a lot of these for a friend of mine. So there you go. So you'll see that as we go along here. And then here we gluing here. Getting things even. There we are. I'm gonna get this glue off the edge. Okay, and then the little spine piece. So as I mentioned, I am using the What's Cooking paper collection by Country Craft Creations. I've cut the cover sheet a little bit. This is the paper collection I'm using. I'm using the 12 by 12 paper collection plus the 6 by 6. So these two pieces are from the 12 by 12s, which gives you the larger images, and then this is a piece from the 6 by 6. So that's how I've been using the paper. Sometimes I keep it the same in the inside just to make it easier on myself. Because sometimes, you know, we do a lot of thinking about which paper to use and what goes with what, and I'm trying my hardest to realize that the entire paper collection goes together. No matter what collection it is, everything goes together. So I'm trying not to think so hard about which papers to use with what, because they'll all match in some way. Okay, so we're just gluing that little spine piece. It's up to you if you want to cover the spine. I just have been doing that. So sorry. Oh, the camera. So sorry. Okay. I try not to do that. Okay, the next part is making the hinge. Here's your hinge piece. I kept it simple with the dimensions because it's only one page, and so I just use 1/2 inch measurements for the hinge. So let me grab my scoreboard. Ooh, and look what I got. You know, Amazon Prime Day, here that is, the ScorePal scoreboard. I was so excited. I didn't have one, and my other big scoreboard wasn't working as well. I think some of the dimensions were off because it happens sometimes. Things weren't coming out straight, so it was bugging me. So I bought this little gem on Amazon Prime Day. So back to where we were. For the hinge, you need a piece of solid cardstock that measures 2 by 4.5. And so with the 2-inch side at the top, we're just scoring at 1/2, 1 inch, and 1.5. That's all there is to it. If you want to do a hinge a different way, that's totally fine. I was trying, like I said, to make it easy on myself. And just do this simple hinge because we only have one page. So I just fold in the middle. Because That's going to be where our page attaches to. And then these just fold, and if they fold nicely, that would be better. Let's try this again. Oops, and fold that. However you want to fold it, however it works for you. It's just a little piece, so we're only using the middle for our page, the middle section. So when this gets to be the right way, this is your hinge. Easy, one page, okay? So all I have been doing is just gluing this together. And then we want that to stick really well. Sorry, gosh, we're so wiggly. I gotta get a different table, maybe. I craft now in my daughter's room because she's not here anymore. She moved out, so I'm like, oop, I'm taking over. Okay, look at that. Here we are. Here's your hinge. One little piece. A little glue at the edge. Just working that hinge a little bit. Okay, I don't remember how I do it actually. Should I do the page first? I don't remember how I did it. I think I did the accordion pockets first. So set this aside. We'll come back to the hinge in a minute. Okay, so as a reference, here is the book that I made already. So in the inside cover, we have the accordion pocket that holds the 3 recipe cards. So let's go ahead and start those. So back with the scoreboard and get my notes for you. So the pocket, the accordion pockets, you're going to need, so you're making 3 for the front inside cover and 3 for the back inside cover. So you're going to need 6 sheets of solid cardstock that measure 7 1/4 by 7. Okay, and then you're going to score that, and I have mine cut here. I'm just grabbing these. 7 1/4 by 7, and we're going to score it in an H shape. So we're going to score it in the middle to, you know, in half, so we can fold it in half. And then we have our 1/2 inch gusset here for the pocket, okay? So on the, this is what I do because the measurements are 7 1/4 by 7, and so they're so close together. I messed up a couple times and had to redo a couple pockets because I scored them wrong. So with the 7-inch side, I always start with the 7-inch side. I don't know why, just so that I can score it in half right away, so I know where my half is. So you're scoring at 3 1/2. So here's the set. Oh, can we see? Okay. On the 7-inch side, here's the 7-inch. We're scoring at 3 1/2, and then you're going to turn it and score at a 1/2 inch, and then you're going to turn it to the other side and score at a 1/2 inch. Okay, so you're making the H. So because I have all mine scored already, we don't need this. So I learned, I have glitter on my table too. I learned this accordion pocket technique from Tamara at Country Craft Creations. Ooh, see, I did this in my new scoreboard. Let's see how it's going to work out. So folding in half first, And then we're gonna fold on the score lines, which I could have done these a little bit deeper, it looks like. And then this side. I was afraid of ripping my paper. So here is your pocket, one of the pockets. So now that you have these scored, you're going to cut this side up to where the score lines meet, this side and this side. So I'm cutting to the left of the score line just to get rid of this bumpy line here, because sometimes you have to trim a little bit, and I'll show you. So I'm just cutting this up to that score mark right in the middle, and then turning it over on the same side of the pocket. And I'm going to cut this the same way. Okay, now you have these two little flappies that we got to get rid of. So we're going to angle our little tab here because we're making a pocket. So to get rid of this, you're going to just angle it, fold this in, and angle it and cut this off, and then turn it over and do the same thing on this side. And then you have your two little notches here and this one here at the top. Now the trick that Tamara shows in her tutorial with the angle pocket, or I'm sorry, the accordion pocket, is instead of having your flaps in the inside like we do, you know, we always make our pockets and we fold these in and then close it. We are going to get rid of this to keep these out of the way, and we're going to wrap them to the outside instead. So this is where you can see we might have to do some trimming. So if I show you this way, when I put this together, there's a little buckle here. It's buckling, the paper is buckling because the paper is hitting, and we don't want that. There, see that? We don't want that. So all we have to do is trim off just a smidge. Just cut up to where that score line meets again. And sometimes just cutting one side will do it. And then you have this little bit of extra, and I just snip that. So I go back and check. Does that do the trick? Let's see. Yes. Okay, maybe not. Sorry, lied. I lied. So I'm gonna do it to just a sliver on this side as well. And it doesn't matter if it's straight exactly, because, you know, this is all folded. So I'm just going to take that little piece off. Okay? So now when we put this together, everything folds flat. So all we have to do now is glue these down. And this side. And there we have a pocket. So there's one pocket. Here we are again with Sorry, there's pages are stuck together. Let's just do this quickly. So I fold in half because we're making 3 pockets for the front and 3 for the back. I should have probably made, with the exception of one to show you as an example, I could have made all these ahead of time, I suppose. But you know, here we are, crafting together if you're following along. So, yay, that's fun too. I've done that before with my YouTube. Okay, so again, we're cutting just to the left of the score line, up to the middle where the score lines meet, and then on this side, and then fold this in half so that you can get rid of these ends. And then angling these just a smidge. And then before you glue, remember to check, because we're doing these flaps on the outside. Make sure we have no buckling. I do have a little bit, so I'm gonna just trim this side just a little bit. I mean, if you have like just a smidge of a, I don't know, what do you call it? If it's not exactly flat and it's just a tiny, tiny bit, if that doesn't bother you, it's totally fine, because you're not going to be able to tell, because you're going to have things in the pocket. So there we go, and there we go. Look at that. Glue them down. I had never made an accordion pocket before, and I don't know why, because they're simple. They're easy to do. I guess I never thought of it, but my thoughts on pockets now are like, I like pockets. I am like trying to, okay, don't get mad at me. Well, you can get mad at me if you want and tell me in the comments, but I'm tired of the waterfalls. I feel like it's getting old, and I know it works out so well with different styles of albums, you know, because you can put a lot of photos in a waterfall, but I feel like I'm over it. So like I said, if that makes you mad, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to do something different now, you know, once in a while, instead of, you know, here's a page and here's the waterfall, and you know, I don't want to do waterfalls right now. Maybe I'll get back into it, but I'm just not feeling it. So that's my take on waterfalls. So there we are. One more pocket for the inside front cover. I like flips and flaps and little tuck spots in my albums, so maybe that's why, or maybe I'm tired of making waterfalls. I could just be in a funk as far as that goes. I get in a funk sometimes. You know, you have all these projects to do and make, and you have all this paper that you had to have, and then you're like, okay, now what am I gonna make? Or I don't feel like it. Sometimes I just don't feel like it, but then I got to get to it. Too many things to do. Just cutting this off here and this side. checking these to see. Oh yeah, we'll have to trim, I think. Yep, needs a little trim. So just trim it up. Again, can you see what I'm doing? It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, and it's just a little sliver, and that's all it takes to get that to lay flat. Oops, I should have cut that. You're not going to see it. So if you have a wonky pocket, you can like put them together before you glue them down and look and see what one looks the best, because I've done that too. Sometimes one looks a little wonky, or it doesn't just look exactly like it you want it to. Pick the best one for what goes on the top. There. Okay. That should do it. And it did. So, one more time. Try not to get too crazy with my glue, because sometimes I do, and you know, it runs all over and oozes all over, and then it's a mess. And you know how that goes. Okay, here's our 3 pockets that are going to be accordion style for the front cover. So before we put them in the book, we got to put these 3 pockets together. We're going to glue them together. And see, I wrote on this one, and I can use that for the back. So I'm just looking quickly to see that everything is even, and it is. So here we go. So first pocket, you're going to glue it. Okay, your flaps are on the back now. Keep your flaps to the back, because this is the side that's going to get glued to the cover of the inside cover of your album, and then we're gluing the next pocket. See the flap on top of that, so your flaps are covered, so you're not seeing those. Okay, so flaps to the back, and then just go with your glue right down the middle. Like that, like so. And then you're going to put the second pocket right on top of that one. And however it's going to work for you to line these up. And I'm going to just get down here so I can see, because I'm standing up. And that looks good. So we're going to glue those down. And then the last one is going to go on top. So take your pockets, and again, just gluing in the middle. And this one on top. Make sure it's even. Is it even? Oop, I moved it a little. Pushing it down there. And there we go. So what I like to do after I get these all glued together, these 3 pockets, is take my little clips, these handy little clips that you can find at your dollar. I found these at Dollar Tree. For $1 when it was at the Dollar Tree still, $1 store. And just let those sit for a little bit so they don't move around. So let's get our book back, our cover. So these pockets are gonna go right on this side, on the front cover. So I probably have been leaving about a 1/2 inch on the bottom, and then just evening it out on either side of the pattern paper here, and just eyeballing it. So, and it's been working out totally fine. Okay, so let's glue this in, and to attach your pocket, accordion pocket, to your cover, you're going to glue the same way that we did when we put them together. So we're just going to turn it over, make sure that your flap's in the back so you don't see them, because you're going to glue this side down, and check to make sure that you're putting the pockets on the right side up. I did that already. Upside down. I've done it. Wouldn't you know? Okay, and then I just am eyeballing, dry fitting, I should say, before I lay it down, just to get an idea. And then we're gonna glue again the same way as we did when we put it together. You can go as far out with your glue as you want to, as far as, you know, how far they go. But if you want the accordion style, it's, you know, like the middle, basically. Okay, and then just fitting that on here. And the reason why I'm putting it down about a 1/2 inch towards the bottom is because I don't want my recipe card sticking out the top of the front cover. So that was my reason. Because I have, you know, in the walkthrough, you see that the page has a top pocket where the recipe card, the little pull for the recipe card, sticks out, which I kind of like the look of, you know, things sticking out a little bit sometimes. I think it's cute. Okay, and then, as best as you can, you know, if you had clothespins or something, I'm just gonna secure this for a second while it dries. Let it dry. Leave it sit for a minute. And then we'll put our hinge in here while these are doing that, kinda. Okay, so we have our hinge. This is what it's gonna look like in your book. Now, what's happening is, as you can see, when the page is in here, you can see this part. I didn't mat it because to me, it doesn't matter. If you're fussy and want to mat this 1/2 inch piece, you can certainly do that. To me, I don't look at that when I'm looking through a book, I guess. If people are, you know, picking apart your work, they might notice, but does it matter? It's the page, it's a hinge. It has to be there somehow. So it's okay. I'm saying for my books, it's okay. So now I have to take this off because otherwise I won't be able to have my book flat. So all I've been doing is just lining this up, you know, top to bottom, left and right. I eyeball. If you want to, you know, get your ruler and measure, you certainly can do that. I don't do that. I just put it in here because it's going to work. It works. It's going to be fine. So I give this a good dose of glue because I don't want this to come out. So again, just gluing this down with the eyeball in it. And you got a little time to work if you're using glue. A little time to move. And every time I think it looks good, I always have to move it a minute or a little more. There we are. Just getting that secure. Okay, there's a hinge. I'm gonna work it just a little bit on either side. Okay, so it works. Now for the page. The one page, let me get to my notes again so I give you, oopsie, the right measurements. You need a piece of solid cardstock. Actually, well, here, hold on. I'm sorry, I have my pile of things that are pre-cut. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. That's not it. This is the page. And I didn't write on these. I should have, so that I would know what I'm grabbing, but that is it. Okay, so one piece of solid cardstock that measures 4.5 by 6.5, and one piece of solid cardstock that measures 4.5 by 7, and then the 4.5 by 7 you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, and we're going to put these two pieces together sort of like we did with the accordion pocket. And again, I learned this page technique from Tamra at Country Craft Creations, and I kind of like it. So I'm going to show you how she does it. So we are going to fold that 1/2 inch, miter, if I could get my, what am I doing? Here we go. Just give that a little miter. Here I am on the camera. Just a little bit. And then we're going to wrap this, instead of doing it, you know how we put our pages together with this, this flap glued down to the bottom of your page and folding over? We're going to wrap it like we did the pocket. So we're going to put it together. Here's your 1/2 inch flap, and here's your 4.5 by 6.5 page, and we're going to do this. We're going to wrap it on the outside, okay? So that you don't have this in your way inside of your pocket again to, you know, get in the way of the recipe card that you're trying to stick in there. So I just want to line these up, line them up, and then once they're lined up how we want them, nicely, and of course, you know, I'm on camera, so we're not cooperating, are we? There we go. Once they're lined up, set it back down, open your flap, and glue it. Okay. Now, once you do that, you're going to, because we wrapped this flap to the outside, when you flip the page over, you're going to see, and I don't know if you can tell on here, but I have a little bit of overhang from the page underneath, from the paper underneath. It's so hard to tell with the black. Let me see. Can you see if I do it this way? Yeah, no, that doesn't work. So what you do is you go to your paper trimmer and you just trim it. So our page size is, what is our page size? 6.5 by 4.5. So all I do is take this to my trimmer and I line it up at the 6.5 mark and I just slice off that little bit of extra. And I'm gonna do that right now with my trimmer that, oh, can we see? I don't know if I can fit my trimmer on the table. I'm not gonna even try it. So I'm just over here behind you. Can you hear me? Lining this up on the 6.5 inch line on my trimmer. And I just cut that little sliver off, and I'm going to show you the little sliver that came out of there. Oh goodness, I have a little, okay. Here it is. This is it. That's the little sliver. Okay. To attach the page, we are going to, and again, this is Tamara from Country Craft Creations that I learned this from. So Tamara, if you ever watch any of my videos, I thank you so much for all your wonderful ideas. We're going to attach the page like this. You open it up. Your hinge is like this. You're laying it down next to your hinge, not right up against, okay, let me get this closer. So here is your line. You're lining the page up like this, okay? And then we're gonna glue the hinge. I'm gonna get this more even when I set it down, but you get the idea. So once everything's lined up, we're gonna glue the hinge like this. Just glue this down, and then we're gonna fold this piece over and glue it down to the other side of the hinge, okay? So I need to set this down to line it up right so that everything is straight. And you know, you can tell if you're straight by up here and down here. Just use that as a guide and go almost to where this folds. You got to give it a little room. And once you have that even, is my head in the camera? Huh. If it is, I'm sorry. See my messy hair. I'm just wiggling this around so that I can get it exactly where I want it. And I do a lot of dry fitting when I do this part because I want it to work. Okay, so I'm holding this here because I really don't want it to move. Glue. And you're going to press it down, fold that hinge over onto your page, glue it down, and you're going to have, I have a little glue coming out. I have glue on my finger. Oopsie. Wipe this off. Okay. Then we're going to glue this side down. You're going to have a little bit of your hinge showing. Sometimes if things don't line up perfectly perfect, don't sweat it. Don't stress about it. You just go with it because everything is going to work out fine. It's going to look fine and nobody's going to notice. So I have a little bit of, you can see here how sometimes, and it's happened to me when I've made this before, I have a little bit here, but it's okay. Okay, so when now we're making the top pocket on your page. So we're not gluing just this, we're gonna glue to the bottom. So we're making this page right here that has this little top pocket, okay, for a recipe card. So we are going to, now again, I want to make sure that this is going to lay nice. Can you see me? Okay. So I'm not going all the way to the edge of the hinge on this side with the glue because I don't want it to squirt out everywhere. And then on the bottom of the page, about half an inch or so, we're going to close it up like that. So we're just folding this over, gluing this down. Closing up the bottom. Like so. Got a little glue there. Before we get too excited, I'm going to put the pin in my glue because you know me and my glue bottle. Okay, there we go. All done. You have your hinge and your page. Okay, there it is. Next part is, let's see. I'm not going to mat the pockets with you. I'm going to give you the dimensions though for the accordion pocket mats, okay? And I double matted mine. So as you can see, I have the black pocket. I used a white mat and the pattern paper. So let me give you the dimensions for that. The white mat for the accordion pocket is 3 3/8 by 6 1/8, and the pattern paper is 3 1/4 by 6. Okay, so that's where the 6 by 6 paper pad comes in great because you only have to cut the 3 1/4, and then you already have your 6 inch. Works out perfectly. Okay. So the pattern paper is 3 1/4 by 6, and the white mat is 3 3/8 by 6 1/8. And that is for both accordion pocket mats, okay, on the front and the back cover. So I'm not going to mat those with you on camera, but let me show you now how to do. So in here, sorry, you have 2 little pockets and a larger pocket right here. So we're going to make that large pocket, and the small, I'll show you the small pocket also. I'm going to leave these out because I'm going to refer back to this in a minute. Okay, so we have the large pocket that goes on page 1, and that is a piece of solid cardstock that measures 7 3/8 by 4. And that is this 7 3/8 by 4. I didn't score it. I don't know why. So let me grab my scoreboard. And this time, we're just making a regular pocket. So I start with the 7 3/8 side at the top, and we're just making a pocket, so it's the same as we always do. 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So I score at a 1/2, turn, score at a 1/2, and turn one more time, and score at a 1/2. This Score-Pal scoreboard is slick. I'm really loving it. I'm glad I bought one. Okay. And then we're just folding on our score lines. And let's see, so the pocket is, well, let's just finish this. Finish the folding. So the pocket is going to fit on your page with just a little bit of extra on each side. But I didn't want it to get in the way of the hinge, so that's totally fine. So let's look at that. Yep, I have just a little bit of room right here, and it's great. So let's make this pocket by, however you cut. Some people just cut straight across. I do this. I don't know why, it's habit for me, maybe. Just cutting up these, up to these score lines and just angling it a little bit, and then mitering the tops. So this is a regular pocket, so we're gonna fold it, you know, like we always do. I'm gonna just score this a little more, get a good crease in there in the fold, and then of course I need my glue, and just put a dab of glue on there. I always do this just to hold it for a minute. I'm holding it with my finger so it sticks, otherwise it doesn't like to do that. And of course, glue on your hand, on your finger, wipe that off, it's totally fine, nobody's gonna see it. And then just getting that down. Now before I add the pocket, I'm going to mat this page, I think. Did I cut the mats for the pocket? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh man, let me see. The mat for, before you put the pocket down, is 6 3/8 by 2. I did. That's right here. I did do it. It's right here. 2 by 6 3/8. Good girl. Good job. Okay. I put this mat down first. Yeah, let's bring it over. Bring it over. So that I don't have to fight with putting this, you know, inside and all the things. I just want to get it on there. And did I put the pocket to the edge? Yes, so just about to the edge. So, and we only need a little bit because again, we don't have to mat this whole page and waste all that paper. So I'm just dry fitting right at the moment. Sorry if I'm boring you with my unorganized self. Let's see how, I just want to see how this is going to look because, uh-oh, look at that. We got a little trimming to do, little bit, because it's going to hang just a smidge from the pocket. So, to the trimmer. Be right back. I'm just going to trim off a smidge on one side. See if that does it. That's why, you know, dry fit first 7 times. Not 7, but you know what I mean. Oh, we're still so close. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not sure. This usually goes so well, but of course, it's not because I'm doing a tutorial. One more time, a little smidge. One more little smidge, and then we should be good. And that really was a sliver, like, whew, I don't even know if it made a difference. The last one I just did. So, you know, this happens. We have to make sure things are going to go our way, right? Man, oh man. Boy, that's really cutting it close. Good grief. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to. This is it. This is it. We're not cutting it anymore. It's going to work. It works. Okay, so now that I cut that side, here's my, I did remember to bring my distress ink with me, which is good. Let's get this baby on here. See what I mean about maybe this has to be 2 parts? Because things just don't always go the way you want. They don't. They don't for me. So to the top, and we're just gonna get this on here like so. I gotta scooch down and look. Okay. Now we can add our pocket. Like that. Looks good. We have a little bit extra on this side. You're gonna see it when you do yours up close, but that's okay because then you have that little bit of extra room for the pocket. You know, get a little some give so your pocket doesn't get in the way of when you turn the page. Okay, I'm just referencing my book here. Just to make sure that I'm not messing anything up. Okay, so let's glue this pocket down. And I did put this pocket all the way to the bottom of the page. So I'm just making sure that it's lined up with the bottom and I don't have any pattern paper sticking out on the sides from this mat. Okay, I do not, do I have it? Is this the mat for here? You guys, I'm second guessing myself, but I'm more prepared than I thought I was. I am. I have the mat for the large pocket here on page 1. So the mat is 6 1/4 by 3 3/8, and I'm just going to check that. This is not double matted. 6 1/4 by 3 3/8. So yeah, we are gonna do it. And let me get my, I didn't ink the edges on here, I don't think, nope. So let's do that quick. Yep, it's gonna go just like so. Okay, and we're matting this because there's two small pockets that are gonna go on the outside of this large pocket, and I'll show you that in a second. So you wanna mat this first before adding those two small pockets that are coming up here. And just lining this up. There we go. If you're following along with me, thanks for your patience. If you're just watching, I really thank you for your patience. Because, you know, I always have a blooper, a boo-boo or something when I'm doing these tutorials. It never fails. Okay, so the two small pockets that attach to this large pocket here are right here, like this, these two. Okay, and that's what I'm going to show you next. And those measurements are 4 by 2. So here's, you need 2 of those that are 4 by 2, and then you're going to score on 3 sides again to make the pocket. And of course, I didn't score mine. I'm gonna maybe just do 1. So in the scoreboard, get it right, Gwen. 1/2 inch. Half an inch. Get in there, get in there. And these pockets are small, they're pretty small. And 1/2 inch. Oh, here, let's just do this one so it's done. Because what if I lose it or something? Or I'll be looking for it and say, how come you didn't do that pocket? Okay. This out of the way. So I'm just going to show you. Let's make one. Fold on your score lines. Do your little, however you do your little, oops, your little notch. Whichever way. And these. And then we're going to put these together. It's the tiny one. And of course, you know, glue everywhere. Stick that down. So let's leave that to dry. for a second, and I got glue on it, but that's okay because you're gonna glue it this side down anyway. It's totally fine. See how tiny this is? Let's just do this so you can see how it's gonna go. I did not cut the paper, the pattern paper, to mat these pockets. I'm just gonna show you because this is gonna be so long otherwise. Good grief. It's getting long already. I'm trying to do it in one. I really want to. Just mitering our pocket. And here. Holding that down until the glue sets. This takes a couple seconds. Let's see. Okay, so here's what your pockets look like that are going on the outside. And this idea again from Tamra, it was super cute, and I'm like, oh, this is so cute. So they're gonna line up like that. Okay, you're gonna mat the pockets and you're gonna glue them to the page. I glued mine all the way to the bottom, just about. Actually, to the bottom of the pattern paper. So you'll see a little bit of black under there. So glue them to the bottom. And I just eyeballed it, you know, do a dry fit and see how much space you have on either side showing your pattern paper, and then glue them down. Okay, so there's that. We're done with that. So we're gonna set these aside and we're gonna move on to, I call this page 2 because it flips to the next page, or it's the back side of page 1, and that is an angle pocket. Guess who showed me how to do that too? Tamra, Country Craft Creations. Angle pocket. So before we glue our pocket down, we're gonna mat this page, and I did a full mat because as I was learning how to do this the right way, I just said, forget it, I'm gonna just do a full mat on this one. So, totally fine. So your page mat for this page 2 is 6 3/8 by 4 3/8. I do have those cut. Is this it? That isn't it. This is for our pocket. Let's see. 6 3/8 by 4 3/8. So this is going to go here. Actually, before I glue that down, let's make the pocket. Sorry, I'm all over the place. All over. Let's make the pocket piece for the angle pocket. You need a piece of solid cardstock that measures 7.5 by 4. You're gonna score on 3 sides first, just like making a pocket, okay? Score at a 1/2 inch, turn 1/2 inch, turn 1/2 inch, okay? Then we're gonna fold on our score lines. And the reason why I'm doing the pocket first is because I'm gonna do a dry fit to see where I need to line up my pattern paper. Okay. Now, here's my pattern paper, here's my pocket. I'm gonna see how this is gonna fit in here and where things are gonna go. Let me look at the example. I do have a little room on this side and on this side, and I don't want it to butt up against my my hinge where the page folds. So let's make this pocket. Make the pocket. So we're making a regular pocket by mitering again, and this is going to change a little. Okay, let's put this pocket together so that we can see what we're working with. It's been a while since I've done a tutorial, so oh, and I always put the glue in the wrong spot when I try to do these sometimes. Like 9 times out of 10. I get close, but okay, just gluing that. And it's okay that you have a little glue here because this is going to get glued to your book on this side. It won't be, it'll be fine. Okay, to make the angle, we're going to cut it from this corner this way, this corner that way. So I measured down, and you can make your angle, you know, however, what's the word? However you want. Like cut off as much as you want. To me, this is what looked good as far as the dimensions in the book. I measured down from the top of the pocket. I measured down 1 3/4 inch, and I make a little pencil mark. Can you see it? Can you see it? There's a pencil mark there on the 1 3/4 inch line. You're gonna get your cutter. This is where it's gonna get fun because I'm gonna bring my cutter over here, which I don't ever do because my table is really small. Okay, hold on. We're gonna try and do this on camera the best we can, and there's a little glare. So all you're gonna do, I gotta put this up here a little bit farther, is you're gonna line up the corner of your pocket, the top corner here, with your score mark, I'm sorry, with your pencil line here. So the corner here at the top and the pencil mark like so. So however you need to maneuver your pocket so that your lines, I'm going to close that down, are where you need to cut. Okay, hang on because this is going to wiggle. I'm so sorry. And just cut it. Okay, then you have this. We don't need. And here's your angle pocket. Ta-da! Let me get this out of here. Now these are already mitered a little bit. I'm gonna go back in and try to just snippy off a little because I want it to, yeah, like this way. I want it to go the other way. There. Okay. Now, we don't need these little tiny pockets, sorry. I'm doing a dry fit on the pattern paper in the pocket. sort of, however, because I'm lining up my pocket with the edge of the page and the bottom of the page. So I want to see where I want that pattern paper to go. I want to leave a little bit of room, like so, like about like that, okay? But before I do that, let's ink it up. So as you're looking at this paper collection, isn't it, I love the images and all the vintage. You don't really have to do the bottom of the thing, but it's okay, it's habit. The vintage look and the ladies in here, I just love it all. So, and the colors are just wild. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna glue this down. And we're just about finished, you guys. This is getting close to the end. Gluing this down. That looks lovely. There we go. So I'm going to show you how to do the mat for the angle pocket as well. So here's our pocket. And there's if you have your little pencil mark, sometimes that shows a little bit. Just get your little eraser. Get rid of that. Oh, my husband's home. I can hear him upstairs. I don't want him to come down here when I'm talking to you. He might ask me if I'm downstairs, and I'll have to answer him. And then I'll keep him up there, hopefully. So gluing to the edge and to the bottom of the page. Lining this up. Sticking it down. I should tell him I'm down here and not to come down here. Now here's the mat for, let's do it this way, the angle pocket. Hold on, I'm gonna see what he's doing. Are you here? I'm downstairs, don't come down here. Thanks for waiting. Did you hear me? I told him not to come down here. So here's how to mat the angle pocket. Oh, I'm sorry, you need the dimensions. The mat, the pocket mat is 4 by 6 3/8. Let's make sure I cut this correctly. 4 by 6 3/8. I did. Put your mat inside the pocket, and you're gonna have to maybe wiggle a little to get it in here straight. Oh, what is happening? What is happening? That is right. Yep, it's right. Okay, as far, well, come on now. There we go. There we go. So I'm just lining it up with the pattern paper that I already have. If my head was in the way, I apologize. I know this paper kind of is clashy a little bit, but here we go. And then once your pattern paper is inside your pocket all the way, draw a line. Come on, where's my pencil? Draw a line. And that's where you're going to cut. So, again, bring in the trimmer. I'm bringing it over. Put your paper inside your trimmer, and you're going to line up your edges like so on your trimmer. I'm getting there. It's hard, I have a little bit of a glare. And cut. Again, my apologies for the wiggling. Now, I'm not going to put this too far away because we might need it again. So before you glue it, dry fit it to your pocket, okay? Here's what's happening. I'll show you. The paper is on here, and see how, you know, you want your little border, you know, you want your black to show. Well, we got a little bit of extra hanging over on the bottom. See, we want our little black to show here. So instead of recutting this, cut it from the bottom. Okay, just take a smidge off the bottom. Just put it in your trimmer and a smidge. I'm gonna flip this over so I have more to work with here. And I have had to do this, you know, sometimes I get it on the first try, sometimes I have to do it a couple times. But just start with a smidge. Again, I'm sorry for wiggling. So this is what I took off. And then you're going to dry fit again. This way. And look at it works. Okay. So now we have our little border, or black border on the bottom. Before I glue it down though, I want to get rid of my pencil marks without trying to wiggle the table. And then let's ink the edges. We're almost done, guys. Almost done. I feel like I've been talking for a long time. I probably have. Okay, I'm going to glue this down. Stick your finger in the glue because, you know, it wouldn't be right if you didn't do that. And then just matting that. Okay, there's your angle pocket. The back cover is the last part of the project for the inside. That is another set of accordion pockets that we did on the front, okay, the front cover. So you're gonna do this exactly like you did in the front for the back cover. Okay, so I don't have to, I'm not going to show you that because we did that already, so that's just repetitive. So make your accordion pockets, 3 of those for the back. So here's what it looks like. You have your angle pocket. This is a recipe card that comes, that's part of the collection. And then on the back is another set of accordion pockets. And then when I matted these, on the back I decided just to put a tuck spot, and I put this little photo mat. I think it's a 3x3 photo mat. Yeah, so the black cardstock is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8, and then the pattern paper is 3x3. And that just tucks in here. Tucks in there, sorry, tucks in there, like so. Okay, so that's it, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for this easy, was it easy? I think it's easy. It's easier when you're not trying to teach people or talk while you're doing it. One-page recipe album. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if I missed something, because you know it happens. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would do that. I'm working on all kinds of projects all the time, and I like to share them with you guys. So if that's something you want to see, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you know when I upload new videos. Again, any questions, I'll leave some links in the description box, so go check those out. And thank you for watching.